Hello everybody, Damascus Fox here, and today I'll be reviewing the CIVIVI Elementum. And I want to talk about why is this knife so popular, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute or so. But first of all, let's do some specs. So this will be a purple G10 scales with D2 blade. Get out of here, fly. There's this fly in here that's bothering me all day. Get away from my coffee. Really annoying. Okay, sorry about that. So D2 blade with a satin finish, so that's actually pretty cool. I don't know why a lot of people don't really, or, a lot of people are getting bored of satin. I know it's kind of saturated out there. A lot. There's that fly. Get out of here. Oh, Jesus, hit my light. Okay. I'm really sorry about that. Where was my point? Yes, satin. I know a lot of people are getting bored of satin, but I just like the satin look. I think it's really nice. It shines really well with light. It does not have wear resistance by any means, if you can see that. There he is again on my coffee. If you can see that. I'm not sure if you can. This knife is well used. I've been using it a lot lately. If you follow me on Instagram at Damascus_the_Fox, then you would know I've been using this a lot. Well, yeah, you can see a lot of scratches. Now I just use it in basic, cutting down on cardboard, opening up boxes. Nothing hard use, but nonetheless, I do use it. And the action on this guy is fantastic. Oh, that detent is just so stinking good. Okay, I think I digressed. Let's get to the specs already. Length. Let's do the length. That's one thing I do love about CIVIVI. They all come with the pouches with stickers and cleaning cloth. It's so convenient. Love it. Gives it a nice little home to keep it in. Alright. And its overall length is coming under 7 inches. That's actually pretty cool. Pretty short. Alright, and its blade length. Right there. Just, right there at like 3 inches or so. Let's see if I'm measuring this correctly. I don't want to give you guys false information. Yeah, it's right. It's right there at 3. It's weird. All the websites say like 2 point something, but it's actually 3 inches. It's kind of weird. So it might be. I'm not sure. It might be problematic in places where 3 inches are. I'm no expert on legal stuff, so check your knife laws and make sure this is compatible with your knife laws. Cutting edge. That one with that nice sharpening choil brings the cutting edge to about just a little bit under 3 inches. Not too little. Enough cutting edge. It's a pretty good amount of cutting edge in my opinion. You don't really need too much. We want a lot, but you don't really need too much. Okay, now weight. Where's my... There it is. On. Hello to you too. And we got ounces, good. Weight. 2.85 ounces. Boy, you're a light one. No wonder why I always feel like you jumped out of my pocket. It's actually pretty cool. Pretty light. Now let's give you some size comparisons up in here. Is this getting distracting? Let me get that off screen. There we go. Coffee. I'm almost out of coffee. I'm going to need more. Size comparison. Let's put it up against pair of 3. And tenacious. Let's use the bottom guy. Bottom there is a smaller guy on the bottom. So as you can see, Elementum is shorter than both, but that might be because this guy is a little bit... yeah. This guy has a lot more handle. But yeah, it's shorter than both, so it's actually a very small and compact knife. Next, let's do the CJRB Feldspar. This is one of my personal favorite EDC knives. Boom. Look at that. Elementum is shorter than both of them, but just by maybe barely, just like an inch, barely an inch longer. I'm gonna get a measuring on that, just for the fun of it. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Not even an inch, but like half an inch longer. Okay, that's pretty cool. Or maybe a quarter. That might have been more of a quarter. I'm no expert on measuring if you haven't noticed already. And tell me if I'm doing too many size comparisons. I just kind of like to do a bunch of knives so you can kind of get a general sense. This is the Wee Banter and Benchmade Freak. So the Banter is smaller, actually, shorter, and obviously it's shorter than the Freak. The Freak's a big boy. This guy's a small boy, but blade is definitely a lot wider. And last but not least, everyone's favorite EDC knife, Cold Steel Spada XL G10 and Cold Steel Spada Medium. So, no surprise, smaller than both, even the smaller Spada, because this is actually a medium. It's not a small, but it sure looks like a small compared to the original. All right, and let's just since it's a CIVIVI, let's just put it up against another popular model. This is the CIVIVI Praxis. So definitely smaller than the Praxis, so you can get a comparison, because I know that this one's pretty popular. So if you own a Praxis and you're like, should I get an Elementum? I want to know the comparison with my Praxis. There you go. Just in case, you never know. Maybe I helped one person, and I'll consider that a win. Next, let's go with height. Height on this blade, or neck. Right, height. As you can see, it kind of had an angle, so I'm not sure if I messed up those comparisons. As you can see, very, very slender. Not going to be taking up too much room. Tenacious. Look at that. Yeah. Not going to be cumbersome to carry whatsoever. I've been carrying it for a long time. Not cumbersome. It's pretty much in the same line as the Banter. So, even with that flipper tab, still not going to be problematic. So that's pretty cool. Alright. Width. Let's do some width on pair 3. You can see that. Pretty much, I would say the same with that pivot right there, sticking out like that. Brings it to kind of the same width. Yeah, pretty cool. Cool width. Let's put it with the Wii. Yeah, what the? There we go. Yeah. Same width. Pretty cool. And blade thickness. You are not looking at a thick blade whatsoever. This guy is very perfectly sized thickness on the blade. I'll give you a size comparison, up against see, that guy's got a thicker blade, and this guy's definitely thinner than that blade. That's stock. Nice and thin. You better not go on my coffee, you stinking fly. I'll be pissed. I'm gonna drink up all my coffee before he does. That is good. Good coffee. Sorry about that, excuse me. It's a blend of coffee and tea. Very good, very nice finish. Alright. This fly is going to bother me through this entire video. If you guys haven't left already, then you're going to be like, yeah, that fly's bothering me through this entire video, and then you're probably going to leave. But if you're sticking around, I appreciate that. And then price. Price on this guy, if you haven't known already, this guy is a budget knife. $50. It usually ranges around $50.15, and then it kind of goes up depending on what model you buy. There's more premium versions, and there's ones with different scales like micarta. There's brass, and there's different finishes. You have a variety of flavors with this guy. Variety. I mean, literally, this comes in every material, every finish possible. I saw that they have one in S35VN, which is actually pretty sick, especially for this knife. This S35VN will be perfect for this knife. Would bring that price up, I believe, a tad bit, but it shouldn't be too much because I've seen knives kind of like this that are around $100 for S35VN. I mean, for instance. So yeah, that would be perfect on this knife because D2 is really good. But if you want something with a little bit more corrosion resistance, I've had no problem with corrosion on this knife so far, which is good. But I keep it oiled regularly, so every time I wash it off, I washed it with water and soap. So, and then I put Tough Glide oil on it, which is actually working pretty well for me so far. I've done it for quite a few weeks now, and no corrosion, and so. That seems to be working pretty well for me. Just dry it very well. D2 is not stainless. It's only semi-stainless. So, yeah. To get that focus back in shape, bring up the... There you go, contract. Come on, fly. Stop bothering me through this video, making it take longer. Look at that. We're already at the 12-minute mark. I blame the fly for that. Alright, now let's do the last test. Sharpness test. Now, I've been using this knife for a long time. This is not a factory edge. I did touch up this knife, I think about 2 times. So let's see if it still maintains a sharp edge. Yeah. Looks like I might need to touch it up again. Not too bad. Not too bad. Kind of just pushing it out of the way. See if I can get a better... I would say it's decent. I mean, it cuts really well through cardboard. Oh, sorry. Off camera. I can't see. I want to see if it cuts. Yeah, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Definitely need to touch it up again. It's D2. It's a budget steel. It does have good edge retention. I wasn't actually shocked on the edge retention. It actually dulled a lot sooner than I expected for D2. But I mean, it's, D2 actually lasts for a long, it lasted way longer than my 8CR13 MOV, knife, which I had to touch up every single time I used it, and it didn't even come out of the box that sharp. This guy came out of the box really sharp, and I've only had to touch it up two times in a span of a month, so that's actually not too bad in my opinion. I need to test other companies, see how they do D2 steel, see if maybe it might be something with heat treat that CIVIVI is doing differently, but so far I'm not disappointed with the edge retention on this guy whatsoever, so it's no problem at all, in my opinion. So no big deal there. I'm actually pretty happy with it. It takes an edge really well. D2 says it's a little bit harder to sharpen. So far I had no problem on my little tiny work sharp. It's like a field work sharp. You just hold it and put it on. I just gave it like a 2, like just basically a quick run over on it, and it got a very sharp edge really quickly, so I had no problem with sharpening it, even though D2 is a little harder to sharpen, so that's actually really cool. It's not too hard to maintain. So one of the other cool things is, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see in there, Yeah, you can see in there. They cut out the liners. That is actually pretty cool. They just cut out all the liners, so it's completely skeletonized liners. Just anywhere that they can cut back on weight, they did it. So that's why this knife is so stinking lightweight, is because they milled out everything. So that's actually really cool. So yeah, I mean, a lot of their knives are milled out like that in the liners to keep that weight down, which is actually really cool that CIVIVI does, keeps that weight down even on their bigger knives. So and still keeps it relatively durable with these liners. So it has a lanyard hole for those who like lanyard holds. And it's got barrel back spacers, 2 of them. Actually, not too much hardware. You got 1, 2, and 3. 3 screws. And then you got your pocket screws. So, 5, but only on the body disassembly. Only 3, so that's very minimum hardware. Very easy to use. And there's no branding on the blade, so it's a sterile blade, except for right down here. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it. Is it on this side? Or was it this side? Right there. Just the steel stamped right there. So that's actually no problem at all. I like this sterile blade. I have no problem with companies putting their logos on the blade. It just lets you know, or the knife name on the blade. No problem with that. But sometimes it's kind of nice just to see a sterile blade. Just nothing on the blade. I like how CIVIVI does this. I like that they put their logo on the pivot. That looks really cool, classy. It keeps the blade sterile. You don't have all this garbage on there with all these numbers. And it's like, I don't need to know these numbers. Why do you have numbers all over my blade? So I like that they just put that right there. That's really nice. It looks really nice. Especially when it gleams in light like that. Look at that. Love it. I like this. It protrudes just a little bit on that side, so it's not flush on both sides. I'm not really sure why it's not flush on both sides. Maybe it's a little easier to get a screw if it's not flush. I don't know. No big deal. Pocket clip. Not really much to say about the pocket clip. It's a standard pocket clip that CIVIVI uses on pretty much all their knives. Let's see. This guy right here. Yep. Pretty much the same thing. This one's a little longer. I'll be talking about that knife later on a different video. So yeah, it's a deep carry pocket clip, so a lot of people are going to like that with recessed screws, which makes me particularly happy. I like the pocket clip being recessed with the screws, but if I'm going to, it's not really that big of a deal as long as the screws are recessed. I just don't like any resistance when I'm putting it in my pocket because you can feel that. I usually feel that with my pants seam. I just feel a bump, and if you don't press it down past that pants seam, your pants will right here, and they'll be a little bit sticking out, and you may not notice that, and then later on, your knife is gone. But I don't really think that's a big deal, and I doubt anyone's really had a problem with that. It might just be my personal feelings, but otherwise, if you're, aware of that, you just push it down a little bit more. But I like that the screws are recessed. I've had pocket clips catch loose threads and ruin my pants. Yeah, and it just kind of goes all the way up and has this little hooky spot. One of the things I do like is that the chamfered down any sharp corners except for the blade. It is not sharp anywhere. You will not find a sharp spot on this except for the edge, right up here, chamfered down. Nice, and especially that they did that with that belt satin finish. Usually you get like a really aggressive spine with that, but nope, they chamfered this completely down. You get this really nice swedge grinding right here. Get too close, I'm gonna cut myself. Come on, focus in there, camera, focus. Really nice swedge grind. I really like that swedge grind right there. It leaves it where you have a fine tip for a really good, fine work with the tip, but it keeps enough meat behind it, so you're not going to break that tip very easily. It doesn't come to a very, needle point. I mean, if you beat up this tip, you're going to break it or dull it, but it does leave a little bit more meat behind it, so you're not going to break it as easily, so I like that. That's really nice. Yeah, that's really nice so far. yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I have to say about this. I've been kind of rambling for 20 minutes, so I hope you're okay with that. Liner lock, I have a little bit of play. I can feel it, just a tad little back and forth. I don't think that's CIVIVI's fault. I think it's because I've been using this knife and I have not been kind. I've been pushing it through boxes. I've been shoving it through boxes. I literally just, I one time went through a box, missed, and went right into a shelf with this. I'm so glad that didn't jack up my edge. I really thought it was going to be busted. So, no, actually, that's actually really good. Nice and tough. Just a tad bit of blade play. But I think that would probably be fixed with just a turn of the pivot. Centering was off, not out of the box. I think that's because of use. I've been using this a lot lately. But the action is still fantastic. Cannot... just hear that action, man. So good. You really got to feel this knife's action. This is so good. Just look at that. Yeah. No wrist required. That is really nice. G10 is not aggressive. Not too aggressive. But enough traction to give you that nice purchase. You can get all your fingers on it. And I think, I don't know, what would you say my hands are? They might look bigger on camera, but I don't know. I always thought I had small hands compared to everybody else. So I can get all my fingers on it with just a little bit of knife showing. So you can get a full purchase on this perfectly placed jimping. Right there for your thumb. You can work with this knife. You can work with, just do a lot of things. Not a very big choil right here. I'm not even sure if you really want to do that. Just be careful because it does put your finger dangerously close to that sharp area. So you can kind of, you know, light grip it with your tip of your finger, kind of do that a little bit, and it's just very comfortable, very ergonomically comfortable. Just this thing, the pocket clip is not too obtrusive too in your hand, so that's actually really good. Feels really comfortable. This guy, you can just work with this guy all day long, and you will be happy. Definitely, I can see that. And now, my opinion on the popularity of this knife. Does it really deserve the popularity that it has? Well, I'm going to say the obvious thing. Yes, it does. I can see why this knife is so popular. Me, I prefer, you know, something a little bit bigger, like the Praxis. Me, I like big boys. Knives that I can just grab and just, yeah, big, thick knives. I love them. But, from time to time, I like to just kind of go a little lighter, just a nice little small knife. And this is just a really nice, lightweight knife. Very nice and just light. It's the ergonomics, everything about it. So I see why this knife is so popular. There's not too much going on. It's not loud, but you have a nice, you know, scale colors. It matches anybody's color that they prefer, materials that they prefer. It's just, yeah, this is actually a really nice knife all around and definitely well deserving of the popularity. I agree with that. I usually stray away from overly popular knives, says the guy that has a Para 3. But sometimes I'm just like, you know, I got to figure out why that knife is so popular. I'm going to go carry it. I'm going to get my opinion on it, even though this thing has probably been reviewed to death. And, I mean, you probably already heard all this stuff before. But, yeah, I could definitely see why this knife is so popular. Definitely see why. Definitely one of my favorites to carry and use. Yeah. So, that's my opinion on the CIVIVI Elementum. Where did my bag go? Oh, it's all the way over there. Sorry about that. Okay, thought I lost it. So that's my opinion on the CIVIVI Elementum. That's a whole lot of purple, isn't it? Yeah, it's like looking through the knife. I should have got something for that. Let's use the thing. There you go. Now you can kind of see the contrast a little bit better. Okay, that was pointless. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Well, that should be it for this video. Hey, I hope you like this video, and if you like more knife-related content, remember to subscribe because I post every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there'll be more knives and more videos coming in the future. Thank you again for watching, and have a fantastic day. Bye.